All right, y'all. So Kanye West is in the midst of another meltdown, potentially, bipolar, manic episode here. I'm not saying that to be a dick. I'm saying that because it might be, clinically accurate. But I got some clips here for you. So we did a pretty long interview with Tucker. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that he said. So let's start here. This is a video Fox News posted. Yay on being Christian in liberal-dominated music and fashion industries. Okay, so let's dive in.
For an administration to not use a talent like Elon Musk more. Like, if I was in or once I am, I will eventually be president before, in my lifetime.
Man. Kanye, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Yeah. You know what? I'm not even going to say anything. I'm not even going to say anything. Let me just keep it playing.
But if I was in office right now, I'd be calling Elon every day. I'd have him sleeping in the White House. I'd say, how do we use our platform as the most influential, that's a Freudian slip, most influential country in the world to show the rest of the world how to live a simplified life. But our country is under attack, and media and industries outside of our country are doing anything to keep it as it was. And everyone's just afraid. God is love. And I understand I come off scary sometimes because I'm like, I'm going to protect my kids. I'm going to protect my reputation. I'm going to protect my brand. And there's times when you have to pull the guns out. You have to pull the swords out. You have to have righteous indignation as a Christian. For everyone that ever said, I can't get mad because I'm a Christian. As a Christian, it's like, yeah.
I don't understand how you can work and...
So he's all over the place. He's all over the place, man. And the Elon Musk love, it's like narcissism recognizes narcissism. And Elon Musk has had a very aggressive marketing and PR campaign to portray him as like basically the world's savior. And Kanye West fell for it, and he's singing his praises, right?
Be so successful and influential in the music business and the fashion industry, the two most liberal businesses probably in the world, as a professing Christian with a pro-life badge on. How does that work?
I always think, whenever God allows a brilliant idea to channel through me and allows me to somehow, take credit for it, I always snicker at the fact that with liberals, their main tool is, that they use are artists and influencers, right? But then God has the number one artist and the number one influencer as a conservative. So I always chuckle at that.
Do you understand what he's saying there? He's saying, like, liberals love celebrity culture, and that's how they get out their influence. But the number one celebrity is a conservative. He's talking about himself. He's saying, I'm the number one celebrity / influencer, and I'm a conservative. So, like, liberals owned, because I beat you at your own game type shit. Kanye, I got bad news for you, man. Nobody are bigger celebrity humpers than the right. This is why you're on Tucker Carlson right now. He doesn't care that you're in the middle of a bipolar episode because you're willing to say the basic things that they want to hear. You're pantomiming the things that the audience wants to hear. There's going to be a portion of this interview where he sucks off Trump OD, and that's all they need. Like, if you give them a little bit of, pro-life stuff, a little bit of Trump is great stuff, it doesn't matter what else you say. You could say anything else, and they'll roll with you. It's like Herschel Walker. He can't even string together a coherent sentence. He paid for abortions, which he says is murder, and they're like, I don't care. You're on my team. And you're talking about, again, Republicans. This is the party that elected Ronald Reagan, who was a shitty actor. They elected Donald Trump, the celebrity apprentice guy. The idea that, it's just liberals that love, like, celebrity culture. What? No, you guys run into the open arms of any celebrity who even mildly tolerates you.
Every time I come up with some brilliant, I was like, could you imagine if, they could have just indoctrinated Ye? The world could have just totally been ran into the hole.
What? By the way, look at the thought process. If you're on the left or if you're a liberal, indoctrinated. If you're on the right, free thinker. Look, at his heart, a lot of what he is just a contrarian. Like, I want to be different. I'm not like the rest of you guys. And he uses that to bolster the argument, like, I'm operating on a different frequency than you guys are. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not a sheep. And when you're in LA, where it's mostly, mindless resistance liberal politics, it makes you feel like you're more intelligent to be like, I'm not with them. But what he effectively has done is gone from one tribe to the other tribe. Like, you're not a free thinker. You're just a standard conservative Republican. And, if you were in rural Idaho, then your contrarianism would have led you to be a hardcore lefty, a Bernie Sanders supporter, and a Noam Chomsky reader. So it's reflexive is what it is.
And there's battles that the devil had won, but the devil's a defeated foe. Like, for me to have gone from Jesus walks to you're such a hoe, I love it, that's that deviation from the path. So, I love that question because I really, every time, it just tickles me, like that the very thing that liberals use the most of, they don't have the best person at it.
Kanye, it's been a long time since you were the best person at anything. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. Sorry to say it, but it's absolutely true.
Do you talk to other people in your business, who are successful in the music industry, the fashion business, who secretly agree with you?
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of fashion people. Tommy Hilfiger loved Trump. Let me see I got to think of all the other Trump. I'm not even going to use the term Trump supporter,
right? Because
why don't people say Hillary supporter or Biden supporter?
People do say that, Kanye. People do say that. Oh, my God.
This is just...
By the way, it's hilarious that Tucker knows that Kanye's, like, mentally off. He knows that. He understands that. He knows that this guy's in the midst of another psychological meltdown, and he's more than happy to bring him on and exploit this to get ratings. And while the camera's on, he's going to be all polite and nice to him. But behind the scenes, I'd love to hear what Tucker's saying behind the scenes to people about Kanye's mental state. Because I guarantee you it ain't pretty.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. You know what? People in my business who love Trump? Businessmen? People who love money?
Yeah.
By the way, thank you for proving my point, for proving the left's point. Yeah, those are the people who love him the most. Why? He gave them massive tax cuts that they didn't need. His biggest legislative accomplishment was a 2017 tax cut where 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%. Yeah, that is who loves him the most. You know who else loves him? The predatory payday loan industry. Because they gave him $1 million for his inauguration, and then he turned around and dropped the lawsuits that were going against them for their unfair practices. So they love him. He also deregulated them. They love him. You know who else loves him? The oil companies. They love him. Wall Street loves him. Financial industries and banks love him. You want to know why? He destroyed the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which had given $12 billion back to defrauded Americans because the big banks screwed them over. They love him. Know who else loves him? The military-industrial complex. They did phenomenally well under him. He increased the drone war 432%. He tried to do a coup in Venezuela. He occupied Syria and jacked some of their oil. So we know who loves him, for sure. And you're somehow on that list too, while you claim to be anti-elite, even though you're in league with all the elites.
People love money, people who actually like being successful, and not ran into the ground. Like, those are some of the people.
Okay, I got some more for you.
I don't have an opinion on that. I just want to state that as a flat statement. But it was wild that I didn't know how close my own wife was to the Clintons. I didn't know, I didn't realize it at the time.
That you were married to her?
And I was married to her.
How close was she to the Clintons?
Cell phone away, or hey, tell Ye to say this away, or hey, go out and use your platform to push the vaccination away. Not away, but stick the away part. But
do you feel like at times you were manipulated by political forces through your wife?
attempt manipulation. But yes, there was some manipulation. Me not saying I like Trump was a form of a manipulation.
For sure.
Yeah.
Why did you like him, by the way? You said you liked him early, like you saw him in...
I mean, I keep telling this joke. If people say Trump was the first black president, I'm going to be the first Latino president.
What? What? Not only was Trump not the first black president, that was originally said about Bill Clinton in the 1990s. And then obviously after Bill Clinton, we got Barack Obama, an actual black president. So he... What? I don't...
Because all the values, the conservative values just line up. Come on, man, Trump's the shit. What do you mean? He has his own buildings.
Trump's the shit. He has his own buildings. This is a guy who sucks himself off all day and says, I'm a genius. That's your reasoning for liking a president? He's the shit. He has his own buildings. That's enough for you? That's all it takes. Man. You already know this, but if somebody has to tell you that they're a genius, they're anything but a genius.
What are you talking about? He's like, like Ralph Lauren. Yeah, he made Ivanka.
He made Ivanka.
You like Ivanka?
Yeah.
You wrote a post on Instagram
Is Kanye trying to hit it?
about her husband today.
Yeah, you know, I had a dinner with Ivanka, Jared, and Josh. And a couple days later, I found out that Josh Kushner had 10% of Skims, which is a line that I had developed with Kim. And I had a lot of issues with the imagery of Skims. I felt like there's a lot of imagery that was overly sexualized and things that I wouldn't want to see.
Yeah, your wife was Kim Kardashian, dude. You got with her when she already rose to fame and prominence for one of the reasons because she had had a sex tape with Ray J. What do you expect? It's not going to be some Little House on the Prairie type shit?
My wife, and definitely not my daughter's doing in the future in order to sell product. But it reaches another level when it's like, okay, well, this is what my wife is doing, and this is what she's doing for our children. But it reaches another level when her business partners are selling pieces of the company that they don't have to because the company's already so successful and it's an internet-based company. So it's like they're really just selling off the company in order to create more relationships for themselves that are unneeded. It's like when I went to the Gap and with our release, they just like, they shoveled it out. I'm very cautious with my words. I'm really big on being able to have an adult conversation in front of the children. So I don't use explicit language in interviews especially. So I found out after this dinner that Josh Kushner had 10% of Skims and I had 5% of Skims. And regardless if, you know, Josh Kushner figured out how to put $150 million, I'm sure it wasn't out of his own account, but $150 million, and I'm sure Jared still has a piece of that fund. Regardless of them putting that money in, for me to have been an owner in it and not known, just from a place as a creative where Skims is so based on a lot of the Yeezy ideas, then it's based on all of the relationships in fashion because I had to use my relationships in.
All right, I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. He goes on to say, like, you know, I think Jared Kushner did a lot of those Middle East peace deals just for the money. He's accusing Kim here of trying to, like, snuggle up to elites, which probably is true. By the way, I actually think the Jared Kushner thing is true, that he was trying to foster financial relationships and he got paid $2 billion by Saudi Arabia afterwards. So I think all that's accurate. But notice something. This is going to become relevant in a second here, but he's saying Jared Kushner, well-known Jew, doing X, Y, and Z just for the money. Okay, it's about to take a very, very, very dark turn, but hang in there. Let's fast forward just a touch.
Make money. I don't know. Is that too heavy-handed to put in this platform?
No, that's your opinion. We're not in the censorship
That's where he said Kushner just did the peace stuff to make money.
business.
Okay, thank you. And I just think that that's what they're about, is making money. I don't think that they have the ability to make anything.
That's what they're about, just making money. Who's they? Who are we talking about? Hold on, Kanye. Hold on. What are we talking about here?
On their own. I think they were born into money, and
it is true that, that Trump and the Kushners were born into money. Well, he loves Trump, but he hates Jared. Jared was born into money. It's a strike against him, but it's not a strike against Trump, who was born into hundreds of millions of dollars.
For me, as a maverick and a talent and a person that's been, beat, kicked, lost everything, sad to have lost my mind, went from pull myself up by my boots don't have straps on them, but I say pull myself up from my boots to becoming a multi-billionaire that gets the price every year of my net worth goes down every year on Forbes. They just keep on slowly just taking it down.
Gee, I wonder why. I can't figure out. Could it be because you stopped putting out good music and you're slowly imploding mentally? Could that be? No, can't be it. Look at Tucker's face. He knows what he's doing with this interview, man. He knows this shit is going to go viral as fuck, and he knows Kanye's unhinged, but he also knows his audience is going to eat this shit up because Kanye says he loves Trump, and he also said some pro-life shit in a different part of the interview.
Every year, it's like really a weird thing. But as a person that has really built something from nothing, when I sit across the table from a Josh Kushner and he just feels so entitled to that idea, and this person has never brought anything of value other than so-called being a good venture capitalist, I have a major issue with that. And it makes me feel like they weren't serving my boy, Trump, the way we could have, because, Trump wanted nothing but the best for this country.
So, look, I mean, it actually is accurate that Trump would get cucked by his generals, his staffers. Kanye saying here that, like, Kushner had control of Trump and was sort of sabotaging him. Trump definitely, it was easy for him to get, for people to sort of reel him in. He allowed himself to get reeled in. There was a number of times he'd be like, we're going to get out of Afghanistan. And then a general would be like, sir, we're not doing that. And he's like, okay, no, you're right, we're not doing that. I have no doubt that Jared probably had a similar effect on him. But look, what Kanye is not telling you is that in some instances, Jared would be more reasonable. Ivanka would be more reasonable. Trump would be wrong. Apparently, Ivanka and Jared tried to get Trump to do some sort of paid maternity leave type thing. He didn't do it, but they pushed for that. So it would be an instance of them being right and Trump being wrong. Sometimes it worked in the other direction. But no, okay, what's Kanye doing here? They're like shadowy forces behind the scenes that are influencing people. And the shadowy forces all happen to be Jewish. Look here. So this is what happens after this interview, day after. Kanye threatens to go to war with, quote, Jewish people. Claims he can't be anti-Semitic because, quote, black people are actually Jew also. After his Insta was restricted for saying Diddy was being controlled by Jewish people. What? After being censored on Instagram, Kanye West returned to Twitter with a tweet suggesting he would be going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Oh my God. By the way, it's DEFCON, it's not DEFCON. He added, the funny thing is I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew also. The rapper's latest tweet about Jewish people had already been removed by Twitter. West hasn't been on Twitter in nearly 2 years and was welcomed back to the platform by Elon Musk, who tweeted, welcome back to Twitter, my friend. West, 45, also wore his controversial White Lives Matter shirt to his daughter's basketball game on Saturday. So he wore a White Lives Matter shirt to a different event. He was with Candace Owens. That, it was huge news and everybody was talking about it. Then he doubled down and wore it again when he went to a basketball game, apparently. Started tweeting about, and posting on Instagram about how I'm going to go after the Jews. Instagram, I think, blocked him or censored it or deplatformed him or something. And then Twitter, I believe, followed suit as well. And so goes the new saga of Kanye West. So, look, part of me thinks, oh, he's just doing this for the attention now. He wants to be back in the spotlight again, so he's just melting down for the attention. That's true. But then again, I also think he's genuinely bipolar. He was diagnosed and he doesn't take his medicine. This is like when he was visiting Trump in the White House and just rambling over and over. And even Trump was looking like, oh, Jesus, like, you all right, man? Like, what's going on here? I think he's the similar thing going on now. Man, he's got to take his medicine, dude. He has to take his medicine. This is him at the game. Look at him. You could tell how much weight he gained since he shaved his facial hair here. He looks heavier. And you can see the White Lives Matter shirt. After his initial posts were removed by Meta, which owns Instagram, Ye called out Zuckerberg's company on Twitter for restricting his account. Look at this, Mark. How are you going to kick me off Instagram? You used to be my... He posted the tweet alongside a photo of the pair performing karaoke at an unknown time. A Meta spokesperson said, We may place restrictions on accounts that repeatedly break our rules. It is unclear what rule West broke in that instance, but he has been using the platform with growing frequency to bash numerous people, including his ex-wife Kim Kardashian. So this is him talking to Diddy, who he has saved in his phone as Puff. I'm just trying to talk to you as a black man, and I'm talking to you because this is hurting our people. Stop. This was probably over the White Lives Matter shirt. Then Kanye said, anything you text, I will post. I love you, and you guys are breaking my heart. I accept your apology in advance. Oh, boy. No, I'm not clicking on all this shit, but you guys get the gist of it. He's just absolutely melting down, leaning harder and harder into far-right politics, right after going on Tucker, leaning in with Jewish question type stuff, the White Lives Matter shirt. Ooh, boy. Yeah. I don't know where this ends for Kanye West, but I don't think it's going to end anywhere good. I know that a gigantic percentage of his fan base has abandoned him. Maybe he's picking up newer fans, but the newer fans are just because of his politics, and they don't give a fuck about his music or any artistic ability that he has. So there you go. He goes on to say, Diddy is controlled by the Jews or some shit like that. This was the picture of Kanye West and Mark Zuckerberg singing karaoke or something. There's Kanye. There's Mark Zuckerberg. Man. There's the White Lives Matter shirt. Here's where he was wearing it the first time. Again, a whole bunch of it is like, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm a genius because I'm different and I'm a contrarian. But then also, I genuinely think he needs to be on some medicine, man. I do. I think he's has pretty severe mental illness issues, and he's just being exploited by the right at this point, because anybody who says the few things they want to hear, they'll give you a pass for anything and everything else. And if you're going around triggering the libs, then you're a hero to them. So Kanye is certainly riding that wave at the moment. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.